The 19th Yugoslavian Championship beckons then for Red Star Belgrade. But here in Zagreb, there'll be no safe passage from a Dinamo side that for the second year running are hoping to prove their most persistent challengers. Red Star's lead, as you can see there, is formidable. They're 10 points clear. Dinamo themselves being hotly pursued by Partizan of Belgrade in third place. Well, there's plenty of talent in the Dinamo Zagreb side, including two of the leading strikers in the goal-scoring charts, Davos Suker wearing number 9 and the captain Zvonko Boban, the Dinamo number 10. They both played along with Prozanetski in Yugoslavia's World Junior Cup winning side of 1987. And they have an outstanding goalkeeper too in Drazen Ladic, regarded as the best home-based keeper in the country and number 2 in the national squad behind Ivkovic. Well, make no mistake, Red Star's appearance in this year's European Cup final is purely on merit. They're a fluent, highly skilled side, underlined by the flair of Prozanetski, wearing 7 today, and the goal-scoring talent of number 9, Darko Panchev, whose tally of 23 makes him the Yugoslavian League's top marksman this season, and a leading contender too for the European Golden Boot Award. No Savicevic, though, for Red Star today. Well, the two sides met in Belgrade last November with Red Star on top throughout, and eventually they won by 3 goals to 1. Stozic here heading Red Star into an early lead. The second goal came from striker Binic, who's a relative newcomer on the international scene at the age of 30. A clever shot on the turn, which wrong-footed the goalkeeper. Dinamo Zagreb managed to pull one back through a Red Star own goal, but it was Binic who wrapped things up for Red Star with his second goal of the game. 3-1 the final score. And today, as in that match, the man to watch out for is the blonde-haired Red Star player Robert Prozanetski.
Savicevic using his pace, pulls it back, here's Prozanetski!
He's certainly one of the hottest properties in Europe today. In recent weeks, he's been linked with Real Madrid and AC Milan, Real the favourites to sign him. Still only 22, and with 15 international caps under his belt, Prozanetski seems set to become a football superstar over the next decade. So Red Star Belgrade in the red and white stripes to kick off. Attacking the goal to our right, only a point away from their 19th championship. But their hopes of a treble disappeared last week when they lost the Yugoslavian Cup final by the only goal to Hajduk Split. Dinamo Zagreb with no real chance of catching Red Star, but of course with their pride to play for today. This is Sabanadzovic, one of the many internationals in the Red Star side. And you may remember him from the World Cup finals. He was sent off in Yugoslavia's last game against Argentina, which they lost on penalties. Free kick then to Red Star, which Prozanetski is going to take for them. Great atmosphere in the stadium today. Red Star, who've lost only 3 league matches, and they've won 21 games. Now the referee having to step in here as tempers flare early on. So much pride at stake in this fixture. Dinamo Zagreb, as I was saying earlier on, also runners-up last season. And they've come through the pack really after a rather sluggish start. They've had a really good run to haul themselves into second place again. But under pressure, in particular from Partizan Belgrade, for that second spot behind Red Star. Surely handled then by Radinovic. Flicked on then by Adzic. And then on from Gaspar, one of the newcomers in the Zagreb side this season. And they've earned a free kick here for the foul on Suka, who clearly is going to be a marked man this afternoon. Such is his reputation in Yugoslavian football. And I wonder if Mladenovic is going to try a shot from here. Straight into that two-man wall, which did its job so efficiently. Now, Petrovic. Petrovic, who's forced his way into the Yugoslavian side since the World Cup. Salja. And that ball out of play for a throw to Red Star, who reached the European Cup final, of course, by beating Bayern Munich in a dramatic semi-final. And earlier on, among other clubs, knocked out Glasgow Rangers of Scotland. Away by Belododic, the Romanian. And the referee again giving the free kick to Dinamo Zagreb. Themselves 4 times winners of the Yugoslavian title. The last, though, way back in 1982. Red Star, the dominant force in recent times. And indeed, they achieved the double last season. Now, a corner then to Dinamo Zagreb, taken by Mladenovic. This is Boban, who's a very useful player, a bit of a temperamental one. He's had 2 suspensions this season. But with 7 international caps, a player with a very promising future. Now Petrovic. Belododic under pressure from Salja. And it's a goal kick. Well, some of the Dinamo players think they've earned a corner. I don't think they have. Mladenovic wanting to take it. The linesman was quite clearly then pointing for a goal kick. And that indeed is the decision of referee Branko Bojic. This is Najdoski. Belododic. Now Radinovic. Looking for Binic. Tall, angular figure. Plays up front, Binic alongside Pachev, and it's a pretty formidable combination. And this is Prosinecki, who pulls all the strings in midfield. Away, though, by Adzic. Now Suka. Morovic with a chance to cross it in. And there's Pachev and the first goal. 5 minutes gone. And there we saw the lethal finishing of Darko Pachev. Goal number 24 for him this season. And he really has been in prolific form. And look there how he manages to shake off the attentions of his marker, Persson, and guide his header beyond Ladic. A clinical finish by Darko Pachev. Boban's run. Slipping through, I think offside though. Salja may not have heard the whistle. The flag was quite clearly up. And he just left his foot trailing then and caught the face of Stojanovic. I don't think there was any intent then on Salja's part. And how quickly then the Red Star defenders came streaming out as one, really. And Salja just nicked then the head of Stojanovic. So a problem for the Red Star goalkeeper. He's been their first choice for the last 4 seasons now, and he's prone to the odd howler, as we saw against Bayern Munich in the semi-final. A goal that went through his legs, if I recall correctly. But Red Star managing to scrape through, thanks to an own goal from Algenthaler of Bayern at the other end. Almost the last incident of the game. Salja taking the throw for Dinamo Zagreb. Good turn then by Boban. But there was Belododic. Stosic streaming away. Now Prosinecki. Oh, the goalkeeper's lost it. Panchev. Oh, there's number 2. And that was a comedy of errors at the back then for Dinamo Zagreb. And the goalkeeper quite clearly at fault. And in stepped Darko Panchev to take full advantage. You really cannot allow him that kind of room. Stosic with the pass. Prosinecki thought his chance had gone. And what on earth was Ladic doing there? A real fumble among the defenders. And Panchev strikes yet again. 14 minutes gone, and it's 2-0 to Red Star Belgrade, who, remember, need 1 point to make certain of the title. So a real uphill task from here then for Dinamo Zagreb. Petrovic. Really was a ridiculous goal to give away. Now Adzic, this is Boban. Needs a good cross here. Not a bad one towards Suka. And I think he may have handled that in the end. But we saw there the pace and the persistence of Boban to set up the opportunity. And Zagreb have had a fair amount of possession in this first half, but find themselves 2 goals down, thanks to the predatory finishing of Darko Panchev. Petrovic once more. A lot of good work stemming from Petrovic. And again, the corner conceded. Mladenovic will take it. There's only Panchev upfield for Red Star. Now this is Gaspar. Oh, he was far too careless there. Prosinecki, and the break is on for Red Star. Bilic. Prosinecki has continued his run. And Bilic, the man who scored that clever goal in the first league meeting between the two teams this season. Rather audaciously there, trying to chip Ladic. Maybe feeling the goalkeeper's confidence is waning after the second goal. Well, he was certainly off his line. Gaspar. Adzic. Cross in towards Suka, who'd made a good run. Oh, and was he pushed then by Najdovski? And the referee says yes, a penalty. Pointing to the spot without hesitation. Well, the Red Star defenders are furious. Not surprisingly, Najdovski in particular is incensed. Let's look at it again here. The cross from Adzic. Was there a push then on Suka? Well, I think he had a case. Suka himself will take the kick. And after those 2 early setbacks, they're back in the game. Suka scores. 17 minutes gone. And it's Dinamo Zagreb 1, Red Star Belgrade 2. Suka with his 19th goal of the season. Indeed, he's second in the goal-scoring chance behind Darko Panchev, who's got 2 at the other end. Boban. There's a fresh zip about Dinamo Zagreb now. And Red Star Belgrade just reeling a little for the moment. It's certainly not looking as comfortable for them now as it was earlier on. Zemanadzovic. Forceful player, driving through the midfield. Here's Adzic. Now Mladenovic. Adzic once more. And good support from Petrovic, although Prosinecki had covered his run. Boban. Another free kick to Dinamo Zagreb, who at the moment are asking a lot of questions of this Red Star Belgrade defence. Boban lining up the free kick, so perhaps he might try one from here, although he is a fair way out. Mladenovic is also there. Boban, who himself has scored 15 times this season. And there is Boban curling it through. And exemplary goalkeeping by Stojanovic. Albeit a rather spectacular save. Boban curling it round that wall. And Stojanovic had it covered all the way. This is Mirovic, who was looking for an English club at the start of the season, but couldn't obtain a work permit. Another of the internationals, although he didn't make the World Cup squad. Now Gaspar. Thread it through for Suka, who looked to be pushed, but the referee says no. Waving play on, whistles from the Dinamo Zagreb supporters. Or then a rash challenge from Gaspar, which is going to incur the wrath of the referee. It was rather late then on poor old Binic, who's come in for some very heavy tackling in this first half. Prozanetsky flicking it on then for Binic, and Gaspar hurtling into the tackle. Binic, who came back to Yugoslavia from Brest in France and suddenly started his international career. Prozanetsky. Belodadic, who's a Romanian international, but defected back in '88. He went to see some friends and obviously liked them. He stayed at Yugoslavia. Prozanetsky. Being harassed at every turn then by Mladenovic. Prozanetsky had the strength to hold off the tackle. Such a gifted player, Prozanetsky. And I wonder, will we see him in Spain or Italy next season, perhaps? So many top clubs vying for his services. Stosic got into trouble. Now, Gaspar going through. Surely a goal here. Oh, he's wasted the opportunity. And he had Suka in support too, and Suka, well, I think rightly very angry that he didn't receive a pass then from Gaspar, who drew the goalkeeper, Red Star, all at sea then. Gaspar sprinting away, and there, number 9, Suka, to his left, who was in a perfect position if he'd found him. But instead, full marks to Stojanovic, the Red Star goalkeeper. Belodadic. Binic. Well, again, he was whacked from behind, and in frustration there, he kicked the ball at the dugout. And he certainly hasn't been too well protected in the first half by the referee. Binic. Dinamo Zagreb well aware of the threat that he poses. And he has been allowed very little space indeed. Prozanetsky taking the free kick far too casually, though. Petrovic. Radinovic. Looks a very talented player, this young man. Istvanic. Petrovic. Now, Sabanadzovic. Foul then surely on Radinovic. Adzic was very late, acknowledging there that he certainly caught the Red Star player. Radinovic, who's in his first season with Red Star, an ex-youth international who came from a second division club. But they rate him very highly, and rightly so, and he's making progress towards the national squad. So another chance here then for Red Star Belgrade to prise open this Dinamo Zagreb defence. Kozanecki inevitably taking the free kick. A lot of jostling going on in the penalty area, which the referee's having to keep one eye on. Darko Pachev with 2 goals for Red Star, but they've kept him relatively quiet since. Boban. A lot of invention about this Dinamo Zagreb side, and certainly the flair and technique of Yugoslavian players is much to be admired these days, as we saw in the World Cup finals when they were pretty impressive, and I certainly thought very unfortunate to go out to Argentina. And they're continuing the good work, the Yugoslavian national side, favourites to go on from their group to the European Championship finals in Sweden. Now the break is on here for Red Star Belgrade. Well, it was a good run by Radinovic, popping up on the left flank this time. The saving tackle coming in from Istvanic. Kozanecki's flick. Istvanic comes away with it. But he played himself into trouble then. Now, can Red Star exploit it? Good saving tackle this time by Boban. Away he goes. And that was the only way they could stop him there. Boban distraught. Only 22 years old, and they think so highly of him in Yugoslavia. If they can just curb his temperamental side. He is very hot-headed, although he was certainly not the aggressor then. Seven international appearances so far for Boban in the Yugoslavian side, and he scored in the recent win over the Faroe Islands. Big win for Yugoslavia by 7 goals. Well, he's back on his feet, but doesn't look too happy at this stage. Petrovic now. It's a good ball in towards Suka. And if he had connected with that one properly, it could well have been a spectacular equaliser. And he's acknowledging there the cross from Petrovic. And it was played in there with pinpoint accuracy. And what a goal that would have been. Binic. Radinovic. Now, how cohesive can Red Star be here? Kozanecki. Always danger when he's in possession. No foul. On goes Salia to Boban. Now, this is Adzic. He's onside. Well away to safety, and the referee waving play on. A let off though for Red Star. Kozanecki. Dinamo Zagreb coming strongly now towards the end of the first half. And they have been positive throughout. but suffering those 2 early blows to shatter their confidence. But they've responded well and are certainly in contention now for the points. Petrovic. Here's Prozanetsky. Momcilovic to Sabanadzovic. Certainly not easy names to pronounce, these Yugoslavs, for an Englishman. I think most commentators will tell you the Yugoslavs are as hard as any around the world scene. Petrovic now. Oh, there's a tangle right on the edge of the area. And the referee has given the free kick to Dinamo Zagreb for the foul on Suka. And he wasn't too far away then from the 18-yard box. And they're finding him really difficult to contain, Suka. An untidy clash, and the referee ruling in favour of the home side, Dinamo Zagreb. 2-1 down, but a chance here for Boban, who's already extended Stojanovic, remember, in the Red Star goal. And he's very inventive from these set pieces. Gaspar, and it's an own goal! It came off Najdovski. Gaspar may well claim it. It was his shot. And it certainly came off the Red Star defender, Najdovski, the man who earlier gave away the penalty. It's not his afternoon, is it? Gaspar, well, I don't think that was going in. And it was deflected past Stojanovic by Najdovski. It's 2-2 in the last minute of the first half. So a really creditable revival here by Dinamo Zagreb, much to the delight of their fans celebrating around the stadium. The firecrackers being set off now. And suddenly Dinamo Zagreb back on level terms and almost on the stroke of half-time too. A transformation though that has clearly upset the coach Petrovic of Red Star, tangling there with one of the linesmen. 2-2 at half-time. The coach of Red Star Belgrade is going to be in serious trouble here. They're trying to calm him down. He was so angry at the second goal, and he has been sent off by the referee. Well, there's a rueful smile from Petrovic, but he has let his temper get the better of him, and he has been dismissed. Well, he's still turning around to argue. He's getting different views from everybody. And in the meantime, the game goes on without him. Dinamo Zagreb having scored almost on half-time. Well, confidence will be sky high now. 2-2, thanks to that own goal by Najdovski. Well, Suka thought that he'd won the ball fairly, and that he'd at least got a throw, but no, the referee says the decision must go in favour of Red Star Belgrade, who've been rocked back on their heels by those 2 goals after they'd built a 2-0 lead through Darko Pachev. Salja. Here's Petrovic, who was very prominent in the first 45 minutes. And Dinamo Zagreb will be hoping he'll be continuing in the same vein. Petrovic once more. Boban. Wasn't a bad ball in. Salja. And the referee has blown the whistle for a free kick to Red Star Belgrade. It's Suka getting involved now. Been a very eventful game so far. Some excellent football from both teams. And the referee deciding there, it's a free kick to Red Star. Now Miladinovic. Petrovic. Petrovic once more. What a determined player he is. Suka. That looked to be a foul by Najdovski. He's having a miserable game, really. Giving away the penalty, then scoring an own goal. Nothing's going right for him. And the foul on Suka presents another problem for the Red Star defenders. Here's Suka now. Down he tumbles. Half-hearted appeal for a penalty. I don't think the referee was, don't think he was too convinced then. Some amateur dramatics there from Suka, who suddenly gets up, makes his recovery. And he goes down here, although no one is anyone near him. Prozanetsky. Surely a foul by Petrovic. Prozanetsky anxious to impose himself on this game in the second half. Rather overshadowed, really, by Petrovic in the first. But if he can begin to exert his authority, Prozanetsky, he really is an outstanding player. Now, Momcilovic allowed a free passage towards goal, but then in the way was Istvanic. Boban. This is Boban once more. Mladenovic getting a second bite at the cherry. Petrovic. Red Star again being pressed back here. Prozanetsky. Lovely flick off then. And Prozanetsky running all the way to support the attackers. I'm not quite sure what he's upset about there. Whether he felt the pass was too long. Well, no, not really. Almost made something of it too. Boban. Salia, who looked to have strayed offside. And the referee and linesman agree with me. Now Dinamo Zagreb about to bring on their substitute Zidane. And he's coming on for Adzic. Stosic to Marovic. Oh, that's a dreadful tackle then by Najdovski. And it's going to be a yellow card, and he can't really have too much complaint about that. A really late tackle then on Salia. And the referee with no alternative at all then but to brandish the yellow card. In the meantime, Red Star are going to make a substitution, and they're going to bring on Savic in place of Binic, who's toiled away up front without too much reward. And the marking on him has been extremely tight. Binic, though, who's been a revelation really for Red Star this season. Now Gaspar. This is Petrovic patrolling the flank, and he was caught then. Foul this time by Stosic. Petrovic. Good turn by Boban. Only Pachev was upfield. Mladenovic managing to shake off the attentions of Zidane. Pachev This is Belododic. Now then to Sabanadzovic. Pachev. Free kick. Persson adjudged to have handled that, as the referee is indicating. And he clearly feels that decision is a little harsh. So some organising here for Ladic to do. He wants 4, maybe 5 in that wall. And the referee wants it further back. Prozanetsky is there. And we've seen in European ties this season how lethal he can be from this range. Prozanetsky doesn't think the wall is far enough away. Hit through delightfully. And watched all the way by Ladic. So no joy on this occasion for Prozanetsky. And of course, if it stays this way at 2-2, it then goes to a penalty shootout. And the winners of that will pick up the 1 point from a draw. That's the way they settle things in Yugoslavia. And if Red Star go on to win that penalty shootout, if it does come to that, that will be enough to earn them the title. But Dinamo Zagreb still hoping that they can clinch a victory here. Ten points behind Red Star in the table. So it surely is inevitable that at some stage between now and the remainder of the season, Red Star are going to clinch it. That was Suka with the header, stealing beyond his marker. He has had an excellent game. Quite clearly enhancing his reputation in Yugoslavian football. Now off goes Starko Pachev. Oh, he's very quick off the mark. Just a bit too quick then, though. And there's a defender in trouble for Dinamo Zagreb. And it's Slavko Istvanic, the man who made the tackle on Pachev. So some attention needed for him. No question of any foul on Istvanic. But at least he managed to curb the danger of Darko Pachev. Now, thankfully, he's back on his feet and back in the fray. And here is now Istvanic. Almost now at the end of the 90 minutes. 2-2. All the goals coming in the first half. Petrovic. No foul. The referee waving play on. And maybe a late flurry here from Red Star then. Prozanetsky now. It's Istvanic snapping back at him. And Prozanetsky, just look at his determination there. Couldn't shake off Persson though. Now Petrovic. Mladenovic. The home crowd urging their team forward. And they hope that they can snatch it right at the death. Petrovic. So much has revolved around him. He really has had an inspirational match for Dinamo Zagreb. It was Suka's attempted pass. But for the moment anyway, Red Star pinned back in their own half. Are we going to see here a penalty shootout to settle the outcome? Mladenovic. On from Mladenovic. Red Star struggling to get it away now. Istvanic. Good turn then by Boban, and a cracking shot too. Magnificent play then by Boban. He really is a very impressive player. 15 goals this season, and he was so close to another one then. Stojanovic angry that his defenders didn't close him down, but that really is taking everything away from the ability then of Boban. Superb skill. Benedict getting into trouble. Now Suka. Good cross in, and a goal, yes, from a substitute. Zidane. Stojanovic somehow kept out his first header. But Zidane was there to follow up. And in the dying seconds of the game, Dinamo Zagreb have scored a third goal to complete their comeback. Stojanovic a little unlucky, but Zidane smacking it into the corner. 3-2 they lead. And that has sparked off scenes of wild excitement among the Dinamo Zagreb supporters here. The two top teams in Yugoslavia, and a real twist in the tail. Suka supplying the cross, and Zidane the substitute with the finish. Only seconds left now, and Dinamo Zagreb will just retain possession. And what a famous victory this will be for them. Beaten earlier on in the season by Red Star, but they seem to have earned their revenge today. Tremendous noise now around the stadium. Boban. And Stojanovic will have to pump the ball quickly upfield now. But it's all over. And Dinamo Zagreb have done it. 3-2, so Red Star still need a point to make sure of the title. And not really the best of preparation for them for the European Cup final in midweek. But a marvellous win for Dinamo Zagreb, who've come back from 2 down to win by 3-2.
Diplomats in Yugoslavia say the army seems to be out of civilian control. Overnight, it didn't acknowledge a ceasefire offer.